My pregnant wife's ex exposed our child to a predator. Now she's calling me from work, sobbing after he got arrested for harming our children. 36M here. This has honestly been the most difficult week of my life. Emotions are high, and I am not sure if I'm seeing things clearly. I've been with my wife, 35F, since college. We've been married for almost 5 years and have a 3-year-old daughter together. She's also around 5 months pregnant right now. I've always thought my wife's relationship with her family was a bit strange. When we were in college, she asked for her dad's advice/approval on everything, even little things like whether she should ask her professor for an extension. Her parents are both intense and controlling at times, and my wife is less influenced by them now than she used to be now that she's older, has her own family, and lives on the other side of the country, but they still get under her skin at times. My wife was also the surprise baby, and she has 2 older brothers, 9 and 7 years older. I'll call the brother who is 9 years older Tom for the sake of this story. Tom has always been a bit odd to me. He's married with no kids, but is very religious and involved heavily with his church. My wife seems to enjoy seeing him at holidays well enough, but she isn't especially close with him. On Monday, my wife called me from her office sobbing. I asked what was wrong, and she told me Tom was arrested and being charged with possession of child pornography. I was shocked, to say the least. My wife ended up leaving work early, and asked if I would do the same. When I got home, she told me a bit about the charges/how her parents are doing. I asked if she expected this, and she said she was surprised at first, but looking back she should have seen it coming. I asked what she meant, and she proceeded to tell me that when she was in 1st grade, Tom started coming into her room at night and touching her inappropriately. She said this lasted for a few years, but she doesn't know exactly when it stopped. When she was telling me this, she said it casually, like she was reading something off a menu. I, on the other hand, was shocked and furious. I told her Tom touched her. My wife said it was uncomfortable, but she never saw it that way, because it's normal for kids to experiment with each other. I said it would be one thing if they were very young and closer in age, but this was a 15-plus-year-old boy and a little girl. I also explained that he did this when her parents went to sleep and told her to keep it between them because he knew it was wrong at the time. Also, these were serious sexual acts that she should have never been exposed to as a little girl. As I was saying all this, my wife got more and more upset, and I could tell she was having a light bulb moment and realizing the seriousness of the situation. My wife, who was sobbing at this point, told me that she told her parents what happened to her when she was around 16. She wasn't upset with her brother, but was ashamed and thought she'd done something wrong. Her parents basically told her it was just normal childhood experimentation and she had nothing to be ashamed of. They also told her not to be upset with her brother because he was also a child at the time and didn't know right from wrong yet. My wife told me she was young, so she took their word for it and just kind of pushed the abuse to the back of her head. I was furious with my in-laws, but tried to focus on comforting my wife plus letting her know none of it was her fault. The last few days have been a nightmare. My wife's family is supporting Tom and are convinced he was wrongly accused. They have an elaborate explanation for how the images got on his laptop that I won't get into here. My wife is crying nonstop and is in so much pain. I feel terrible this happened to her, but the one thing I'm upset about is that she let our daughter near this man. If I'd known Tom did this to my wife, I would have never allowed my child in the same room as him. I told my wife that I wish I'd known for our baby's sake and added that while I'm devastated for her and love her so much, I'm still grappling with the fact that she allowed our little girl to be in the same room as a predator. My wife started sobbing when I said this, and told me she didn't do it on purpose. She told me she accepted what her parents told her when she was a teenager and put it out of her mind. She said if she had thought about it more deeply as an adult, she probably would have realized Tom was a dangerous, but she truly never stopped to think about it again after her parents told her it was okay. We agree that neither of our kids will ever be around Tom again, but she said she couldn't believe I thought she'd intentionally put our child in harm's way. She also said she couldn't believe I was coming down on her after she's realizing she was a victim of child abuse and her family is falling apart. I love my wife and believe that she trusted her parents and put it in the back of her mind. But I keep thinking about what might have happened if we'd continued to allow our daughter near that man. I believe my wife didn't consider this abuse until we talked and didn't consider that our daughter might be in danger, but I am still a bit puzzled by all of this. My wife is in so much pain, and I am not sure if I did the right thing by raising this issue while all of this is going on. Ida? And any advice would be appreciated. This all seems so over my head.